Currently 12:25 p.m. on Wednesday, February 26, 2025. As you can clearly see, this is a screen recording for analytical purposes, speaking to the prosecution of AVANATH Capital Management, LLC, which is headquartered in Orange County, Irvine, California specifically. It is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, doing so as a corrupt company, participating in the state's criminal system of surveillance, representing a third-party company engaged in that criminal system while they're profiting, while they're engaging in the pattern of conduct, which is serving murder and kidnapping. So this is underway at a facilitating venue that is, again, maliciously disguised as a private residence. It's not a private residence under existing constitutional law, where the government is maintaining surveillance outside of the bounds of the Constitution of an American citizen in concert with those civilians, and through the use of a company such as AVANATH Capital Management, and you're not exercising any constitutional protections either. So this is not only the prosecution of AVANATH, it is the prosecution of the people of the state that are working for AVANATH, that are remaining at AVANATH's venue, because that's what it is. It's a venue, it's a facilitating venue, the address, and doing so in concert with the state. And this is comparable to the light activity that I'm documenting inside of the private space. So I just want to go ahead and get this footage right now. While I'm starting this video at 12:25 for a reason, so go ahead. This is another iteration of what is not only impossible light, engineered light, a natural light. This is a revealing of what is the demonic. And these demonic patterns of conduct are central to what's a criminal system. It's operated by a public entity that's monitoring in concert with the people of the state, who maintain joint presence while that phenomenon is present all around you. Doing so also while the government itself participates in the criminal elements of monitoring, that is LAPD as of late, systematically, ceaselessly, obsessively group stalking, criminal facilitation of group stalking as well, while they are monitoring with communication devices. This is impossible light, right? This is not sunlight. In the same way, inside of my apartment, it's not sunlight. As you know, sunlight's not bouncing off of windows, reflecting on the side of the wall of that building. It's also not then also shooting down onto the floor inside of any building. It's not shooting into the depths like a laser. It's also not just manifesting in the shade out of nowhere. All right, you're looking at what are the demonic that surround you. All they do is engage in presence. They're going to be deported. Every single last one of them. That's 1806 number 5. Excuse me, 1806 number 4. And 1816-2, they're group stalking. And this is the malicious system. All you have to do is be present, while the environment that's entirely unnatural remains around you. Okay? As I've shown you, the property is covered with what is engineered light. It's in my office, it's in my apartment, and the entity maintains. This is the fake sun at 12:25 p.m. And that's the exact circumstance where I'm showing you the same pattern of impossible light activity inside of a venue that's a private space, where you're recognizing stalking by those that are maliciously acting in the position that is supposed to appear substantially similar to the target individual who is being kept under surveillance. And this is the fake sun. This would require that there be more than one sun. When you are recognizing the pattern of conduct that is shown through the environment that surrounds, where the government is harassing, where the government is engaged in terrorism, where the government is doing so vicariously through a population, the entity is engaged in what is federal group stalking and monitoring, and everyone living at that space in that environment is going to prison. That's the status of those that are at Woodside Senior Apartments, where this fake sun is directly over unit number 46, which is in perfect alignment with me. As you can see, at the same time, you have the light source that's directly at the same time, 12:25 p.m. when I started this video, replete with what is the impossible light activity that I'm also documenting inside of the workplace. This is the state of California gang stalking me in the workplace, where it then also, remember, engaging in a pattern of conduct of criminal defamation. This is why they're engaging in psychological torture in the workplace, and doing so while then falsely depicting you as one that cannot support yourself, cannot function in the workplace, where they're intentionally gang stalking you in order to create that sort of narrative about you. That's why Eric Spencer, that's why Tracy Banks, that's why they're going Eric's going to federal prison. You're talking about what is Tracy Banks is going to a mental asylum based on the severe mental instability she has demonstrated throughout for a span of years, going through the desperate links she has in order to murder and kidnap me and falsely depict me, assume my identity. But nonetheless, you're getting the specific environment that's where she lives, by the way, where she is still gang stalking, and she knows that there is an ongoing federal case, and this is speaking to impunity of the state of California, not just this demon-possessed gang stalker Tracy Banks, the impunity of all the demons inside of units 33 through 64, while a fake son is stationary over the same apartment building where you saw demons playing with their kids, monitoring me, where you're seeing engineered light on the floor, on the ground, reflecting the window, okay? This is the same window where the fake sun that stays here is still in alignment to me after 4:30 p.m. This is again speaking to the maintenance of the same Zenith presence where the airport participates in federal group stalking and monitoring, and that's what you're gathering from the specific environment, and then everything happening in that environment, which is the criminal engagement in elements of monitoring, and that's catching a federal case while they gang stalk you right in your face, walking on the sidewalk, working for a corrupt company, monitoring you, walking on the sidewalk, doing so while you are subject to an ongoing ceaseless sex offense, being molested by engineered light. This is a sex offense that I was subject to on February 22nd, 2024 under the fake sun that's engineered light like this is appearing inside of my office where it is absolutely impossible light activity, and then you have the fake sun that's over the apartment building as I walk out toward the side. This is speaking to what is impossible with regard to that maintenance of that sun, and everybody in this environment is stalking, including again the demons walking under the parking garage, the demons that are wearing the hats engaging in landscape. It's called light activity presence of path. They're gang stalking, and these are also psychopaths that are focused on you while they are engaging in what is maintenance in an environment that is specifically prescribed for gang stalking. All right, walking on the walker in the parking lot under the fake sun is light activity relevant positioning by a demon that is maliciously waiting for to be on camera, okay? And this is an emission. Walking at the dumpster crossing path, they're pacing. This is RGS pacing in the path. They're doing so while you saw this fake sun that was still here through this patio glass door after 4 o'clock in the evening. You saw these demons in Unit 41 playing with their kids, creating means of audible activity. You saw their gang stalking granddaddy that works for AVANATH, and if any of these adults are not natural born citizens, they're going to be deported for the impunity that I documented while you're looking at what is the pattern of engineered light. One demon after another walking across the parking lot is called pacing while they're monitoring. This is what's going on at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles under a fake sun. That's a prosecution of RGS. All right, the gang stalking employees of RGS, any of them not natural born citizens, deportation. You're talking about systematic engagement in what is the government system that's serving murder and kidnapping. You're going to prison for that, okay? They're doing so while they're also engaged in federal stalking under Title 18. They're monitoring evidence, so they're not ignorantly keeping somebody under surveillance where they're not aware of the fact of that American citizen is threatened by virtue of realizing it and documenting it and then watching that entity continuously target them. The entity is monitoring all the evidence. The entity is monitoring everything, including my genitalia. That's a sex offense that RGS is going to be prosecuted for. That's a sex offense that AVANATH Capital Management is going to be prosecuted for. That's a sex offense that Speaker Companies, Todd Speaker, the entity itself, gang stalking at Alvarado Gardens under a fake sun. And what you see in the parking lot outside is what the light source, which is never the sun, which again, shooting engineered light inside of my apartment this morning as though the sun is rising, and that would ever result if the sun was actually rising. But you also, so that's speaking to testimony regarding what I'm documenting at Woodside Senior Apartments. A fake sun is idle over the apartment building from morning where I'm living at the same apartment complex, which is what I've documented at Woodside Senior Apartments. By the way, that's the two happening at the same time. This is evidence right here. The fake sun that you see over me at right now at 12:34 p.m. when I'm walking outside. Well, I don't even have to walk outside. When I open the front door and it's in perfect alignment with me, it's still maintaining alignment with my person through blinds that are closed, through what is engineered light, not sunlight, where the upright magnified size of shadows of the patio furniture is appearing at a distance away from the furniture. This furniture is on the opposite side of the patio, and its shadow is appearing on the glass door. This is speaking to the maintenance of a light source, though, and this is after 4:30 in the afternoon, and you're looking at it right now over me at the same address at 12:30. This is identifying stalking by a corrupt company such as RGS. Criminal facilitation by both of these companies, AVANATH and RGS, are acting in furtherance of the state's criminal system, and they intentionally and knowingly do so, and you will be held accountable regardless of what the entity, any ignorance that it unreasonably and unpersuasively feigns in federal court, okay? Because they are not ignorantly engaging in the demonic pattern of conduct of pacing under the fake sun. They're not doing so while they are stalking with audible activity. They're also not ignorantly doing so while the government aids in that threat, as I just so happen to start documenting them, like I've captured for years, which is within the pattern of conduct that the government is practicing, and the government relies on that population to do so. So I just want to point that out regarding what you're looking at. That's a company stalking. That's a company making money while it's stalking. That's what AVANATH Capital Management is doing. And this is what Speaker Companies was doing, as I documented on February 22nd, 2024, while I'm subject to the P.O.C. in the workplace. That is a specific basis for prosecuting the state of California that was engaging in what is domestic terrorism and psychological torture in the workplace, which is what I will be prosecuting this entity for as well. This is what this entity is continuously engaging in, while aware of all of the evidence that's currently published on the internet, that was published on the internet before, and the entity repeatedly engaging in a pattern of conduct of kidnapping as well. But I want to show you here what is documented already here at Woodside Senior Apartments. This is 8:22 in the morning. All right, and I'm showing you what is the same condition of the light source over me. This is the same apartment building where you're looking at it at 12. It's at the same position, 12:36 p.m. over the same exact apartment building, but I'm showing you same time of year analysis, same time of year documentation, even down to same time of day, like I started this video today at 12:25, just using any video, and the entity is maintaining the light source over me, over the apartment building. This is apartment building number 1810 North Alvarado Street, as I am facing that apartment building. This is where the entity is gang stalking in helicopter, and this is, again, where engineered light is just manifesting inside of my office in the shade, in the depths of that office, and my shadow is appearing. This is terrorism via engineered light. While stalkers, just like RGS, this is what RGS is engaging in. Just standing around, stalking you, keeping their back to you, not having to speak with you. They don't have to address you. They are doing so on behalf of the government that is simultaneously and ceaselessly maintaining aerial surveillance and all manner of surveillance using the resources of corrupt fire departments, ambulances, and police departments. All right, helicopters and police vehicles, surrounding with activity creation together as an entity. It's a collective effort, and that's why you're understanding what is a prosecution of what you just saw. You saw a bunch of demons in the parking lot under what is a fake sun, speaking to their intentional and malicious engagement in the elements of monitoring. What demons are doing, they are akin to cockroaches. The demon possessed are the cockroaches of humanity. All they do is crawl around under an engineered light, and they're monitoring you while doing so. They are mentally unstable psychopaths because they do so while they are intending to do so unbeknownst to you. But now when the entity is monitoring somebody that is documenting and prosecuting them, you're seeing them continuously stalking someone and just looking to the left and the right like nothing is happening. And now you're able to even more clearly see under the fake sun and engineered light with the government that they're psychopaths. And these are the ones that are murdering people and kidnapping people and bearing false witness in the corrupt courts in California while they psychologically torture and stalk you as a community. That's what AVANATH Capital Management, Woodside Senior Apartments is engaged in. All right, so while I'm speaking to in this video that the fake sun was rising in alignment to me through my bedroom, my living room window this morning, which is exactly what I documented, I'm documenting in this video showing you, comparing what is recognizing for purposes of prosecuting corrupt companies like AVANATH, corrupt landlords, chairman, CEO Daryl J. Carter, and all the executives are working for a corrupt company. That's what AVANATH Capital Management represents. They are the same entity that just lives at the property. So you're understanding what is removing yourself from the ways in which your mind operates, because this is not an individualized crime. The demon possessed that are gang stalking under the name of RGS, under the name of what are residents at Woodside Senior Apartments, under the name of the people of the state. You have what is all they are, the same people of the state work for a corrupt company that I'm exposing called AVANATH Capital Management. And one of their names is Daryl J. Carter. Okay, this is the people of the state, and so is AVANATH Capital Management. This is a corrupt company that represents the people of the state, extending a company for a malicious means of the government's criminal system of surveillance. And that's why the apartment complex, where I am at the apartment complex, is the facilitating venue. All right, and they are knowingly and intentionally doing so. That's relevant to psychological torture that the entity is going to be prosecuted for. So this is the specific environment, and this is where the entity is maintaining this fake sun at the same time, and it is currently 12:40. So what I documented at what is 12:39, what is ongoing is the gang stalking by the Los Angeles Police Department while the fake sun remains. An engineered light coats the, just like you see outside. This is the same pattern that you see here. The engineer light, the windows are appearing on the ground out here. The entity had the windows appearing on the wall.
I just want to document. First of all, this is impossible light activity. Ongoing direct evidence against the people of the state and the Los Angeles Police Department, who are also amplifying helicopters.
Just 1 second. It's doing stuff. Give me 1 second. There we go. 12:22, just so that you can see it together, because there is power in what you can visually witness and observe, and there is also no question regarding the potency and the probative value of this evidence. Speaking to the prosecution of the entity.
I just want to document. First of all, this is impossible light activity.
So
ongoing direct evidence against the people of the state and the Los Angeles Police Department, who are also amplifying helicopters.
These windows appearing on the floor here.
It's called amplified audible activity. That's called stalking in the path. That's a group stalker. Living on the venue is called stalking in the path, maintaining joint presence on behalf of a state. And I also want to note something. LAPD just recently stopped sounding helicopters. The moment I started pressing record, they see again. All right, this is the demon-possessed. They are engaged in a criminal system in concert with the people of the state.
This is a demon-possessed person that's operating a helicopter that's representing the government that is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. The entity is engaging in this under a fake sun, where you're looking at sex offenders that are monitoring my genitalia as well. They know what I'm documenting on my phone. They're going to be prosecuted for that. The entity in units 33 through 64 are gang stalking while activity is maintained in a parking lot in relevant position, just like they did at Alvarado Gardens, parking in the parking lot. Amazon Prime is gang stalking with a method of light activity analogous to what RGS is fulfilling as far as the elements under the fake sun, in concert with the LAPD, who are pacing in a helicopter. That's the outward demonstration of mental instability. That's what this demon in unit number 55 does, is I continuously document pacing in circles, going nowhere in a 600 square foot apartment under, by the way, the fake sun and an engineered light. This demon is gang stalking while living at a crime scene, and this is what a demon is doing while flying a helicopter, flying in circles under that fake sun. RGS is satisfying the same criminal purpose that Amazon Prime is satisfying in this video captured at 12:39 p.m. on February 22nd, 2024.
Writing what is audible activity. They are group stalking in relevant position. They are doing so in concert with the people of the state, criminal system in the state of California, in the specific environment. I want to be clear. This is letting you know the Los Angeles Police Department, they are the demon-possessed system in the state of California, and everything that they continue to do is serving for the prosecution of the people of the state. The people of the state that engage in the un-American crime of tormenting and terrorizing an American citizen, if they're not even natural-born citizens, they're going to be deported. All right? And they're never coming back. The entity engaging in group stalking and monitoring in concert with the people of the state.
That's what RGS is doing. And
that is the Los Angeles Police Department. That department shall be permanently removed, and that entire department necessarily subject to what are mental examinations based on their demented condition and their ongoing document.
That's demonstrated through flying in circles for a prolonged period. The demons become more frenzied. They become more psychotic in their engagement in the elements of monitoring, such as pacing. Pacing is also accomplished while you have more than one body crossing path under the fake sun. This is what you saw on video yesterday morning when you have the demon that comes from, I believe, unit number 48 or 47. He goes upstairs to this one. He's got the unique ears, the Latino male. He's crossing path. And then AVANATH Capital Management, the Latino male in unit number 41, he crosses path, pushing the refrigerator. And then you see the demon comes outside with his children. They engage in conduct as though they're defending their daddy. They're adding federal charges and they're losing their kids. That's what the demon possessed, who don't understand the severity of what they're being surrounded by, while they're acting in furtherance of murder and kidnapping someone, while they're being terrorists, in other words, in the United States. Okay? This is not any defense of your mama and your daddy. Your mama and your daddy are a bunch of sex offending gang stalkers. They're terrorists, and so are you, while you're putting you and your kids on camera in order for the federal government to prosecute you more precisely. All right, so this is what Amazon Prime is in relevant position.
Determination to engage in tormenting and terrorizing.
That which is over building 1810 at 12:39 p.m. as I'm capturing this video. It's 12:44 p.m. And is not over apartment number 46 and 42 in alignment with me, however. That's the pattern that you're recognizing. That which is maintaining alignment with me is what the demon possessed are doing while they are staying in alignment. That's called stalking. Stalking by demons in engineered light. It's not the sun, and it's also not sunlight. They're stalking, and that's how you're recognizing it amongst a community such as Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles, and also Woodside Senior Apartments in Ontario, where the state is practicing the P.O.C.
American citizen who's not only aware of it, I'm prosecuting it and I'm exposing it. I want to be clear, the entity is utilizing state vehicles right now to create what is audible activity, while Amazon Prime is here group stalking.
And RGS is here group stalking.
This is P.O.C. Amazon Prime's heavily documented. I've already documented these minions. Reference my documentation that pre-exists my moving to Los Angeles, California. That's what
you're looking at. Demons who are pacing. Amazon Prime has 2 demons under the fake sun that's remaining over me in Los Angeles. This is speaking to what's defying nature while I am reviewing evidence that was captured this time of year. And at the same time, you've got 2 of these demons walking in tow, crossing path with me, and they're pacing just like you saw the demons, one on the walker and then the next heavy set Latino male, while RGS is digging in the dirt. These demons are pacing under the fake sun they're monitoring, and this is what it looks like, okay?
Since 6388303, they're here delivering.
And then you will see the demon possessed flying in circles in alignment to me under the fake sun in Los Angeles at the same time.
Packages to third-party group stalkers at the specific venue. Amazon Prime is a group stalker of the state system. Employees are going to federal prison.
All right, so what they're doing is stalking in the path using a vehicle with a means of light activity. This is what you saw the demon that was in unit number 42 doing at 11:40 in the morning when the fake sun is over this same apartment building. This is what you saw the demon license MARMMAK with the Arizona plates after 3:30 p.m. where this same fake sun remains right here over this same exact apartment building, where you saw the Ontario Police Department engaging in terrorizing and threatening and intimidation tactics intended to obstruct justice while I document their co-conspirator, their co-defendant, the people of the state, because they are engaged in Title 18 federal stalking, while that fake sun moves as I move to be over, again, apartment number 41 at this edge, while I'm documenting that. Also, the fake sun being where you see it here, but you've already seen it right here at 8 o'clock in the morning, while I'm documenting gang stalking by third parties that are maintaining presence in the path. Doing so with an ongoing emphasis on what it is that I'm documenting as I document it.
They're doing so in your physical presence
Amazon,
with Los Angeles
RGS,
PD, who are engaging in the demonic
conduct.
act of flying in a circle by helicopter. They're demons. That was called.
Hold on, I want you to see this together. So this is understanding, first of all, the concept of demon possession, the reality of demon possession. Satan is a spirit, and he's using a multiplicity of bodies who are nothing other than means of activity creation. Secondly, the prosecution of the demon-possessed entity, the witch coven, the state of California that's practicing this system, this high organized crime of kidnapping and murder in the state, exposing public corruption. You have the entity that's acting through a population, essentially faceless and nameless, until you get to prosecuting them. But you're understanding collectively, all they're doing is satisfying elements of monitoring. When you're understanding the entity, the satanic entity, and you're understanding the public entity, what the public entity is doing together through the people, in concert with the people.
That's what they're doing.
Amazon
just to break that down for you. It is currently, right now, it's 12:41 p.m. Those demons are at the specific environment, surrounded by the direct evidence of what is not only their condition, but their criminal act in real time. This is called impunity. All right, civil and criminal prosecution. This is P.O.C., and they're facilitating that which is in law. They're going to federal prison, and they are adding to, again, the system is serving to implode. You're going to prosecute the state. That's LAPD. You're going to prosecute the people. This is P.O.C. And when you have the...
That's a demon that's flying a helicopter, engaging in the pattern. Very disturbing. It's terrorism on its face. While demons are working for a police department and they are gang stalking you, it's also terrorism while you're subject to surveillance where it is that you live and everywhere that you travel. While the demon possessed, who demonstrated through their behavior, you're not walking around, you're demonstrating demon possession and engineer light under a fake sun, and the entity is going to be prosecuted. Gang stalking by driving out of the carport. Everybody at this property is going to federal prison. Going to federal prison in units 33 through 64. Everyone at this property, however, is going to be federally prosecuted. Moving their vehicle under the parking garage right there, that's exactly what the demon in unit number 43 did, engaging in surveillance in the parking lot, stalkers just sitting around, even in the heat, because that's how important I am, and you know that because a whole fake sun is sitting over this apartment all day long. In doing so, while I am going into the window right here, that's a demon that knows what I'm doing as I'm doing it. That's called stalking with activity. The same thing happens audibly, okay? These are the demon possessed who are monitoring my genitalia. That's also public information amongst the stalking entity. That's an RGS company, that's a sex offender, and its employees are engaging in sexual violence. This is the City of Ontario, that's a sex offender and is engaged in sexual violence. That's the state of California. This is Woodside Senior Apartments, that's a sex offender. AVANATH Capital Management, and it's going to be prosecuted for sexual violence, also in violation of the Violence Against Women Act. And I'm showing you what is impossible, that the entity would be in an environment where you are under any circumstances maintaining any tenable position, because that's not what's going to occur in federal court. You are going to be held accountable for that which the ordinary target individual is not capable of proving, is not likely have this information and be able to have the wherewithal when you're subject to the ongoing psychological torture, for example, when you're subject to the ongoing trauma with regard to sexually motivated means of targeting you and harassment and kidnapping you and murdering you ultimately. Okay, so this is speaking to what are necessary means of justice, where I am showing you in the workplace
Phenomenon that surrounds you. This is direct evidence of what you're doing. You're talking about being totally.
So you're paying attention to the engineered light that disappeared on the wall, but you can see over here over the window, the same impossible light activity. It's just moved to a different location. It's never sunlight. None of it is the product of sunlight. It is the evidence of the demons who are stalking. They're stalking at an apartment complex. The government is hiding amongst a bunch of civilians that are supposed to be disguised as private citizens, and they're not. And the specific environment helps to out them, okay? Like a homosexual that wants to remain in the closet, so the demon-possessed do not want to be exposed. And they are exposed in that specific environment. That's where the government is exposed as stalking you. You don't have any constitutional protected rights to have any business means of the elements of monitoring, to have any privacy of speech. It doesn't exist. It's government action. Okay, and the entity is continuously doing so with impunity. That's the significance of the entity gang stalking.
Surrounded with the evidence, and that is the state. And I want to be clear, not only is my shadow appearing here, it's more faint than it was before, but now it's all over here. None of it would ever occur, but I just want you to pay attention to how the demonic environment, how it mutates, how it changes on an ongoing basis. Never would it occur at all. Federal prison. Mental examinations.
For demon gang stalking in a helicopter, okay? This is exactly what you see underway when I am documenting the P.O.C. and the entity engages in the... So let's be reminded about what the entity was doing. It's past 11:40, it's 12:52, where the fake sun is remaining over the same exact apartment building. And you saw this while I am capturing... Let me find this video. All right, this is the light source where I am showing you gang stalking by a demon-possessed agency who have demons that are stalking me in helicopters, which is the hallmark of recognizing also the pattern of conduct, not only the government's conduct of stalking me, notably in helicopters, but also the specific environment where the government is stalking me, notably using helicopters. And even as I compare another crime scene where I was subject to this same phenomenon on multiple bases, the gang stalking in helicopter under a fake sun and amongst all of this light that is impossible to naturally occur. This is what you will recall at an earlier time. 12:53 p.m. is where you're seeing the fake sun over the same apartment building. I want to be clear, the ongoing progress in the natural environment, the sun is not over the same location an hour later. So just want to be clear. I'm also comparing what is the entity doing with regard to seeking to obstruct justice as I document them, and the entity that's monitoring evidence. So this demon in unit number 42, 8FVB068, is serving the same criminal purpose that RGS is serving right now in relevant position under the fake sun, in concert with the demons that are helping maintain elements of monitoring, maliciously on the surface, engaging in landscaping, in engineer light amongst ongoing audible activity. While my genitalia is exposed, all manner of a sex offense remains ceaselessly underway. Monitoring inside of a private space is also a sex offense while the entity is making money, in other words. And this is how the state of California operates as a means of a corrupt society. Okay, this is what, again, speaking to elements though, this is what RGS is doing, stalking in the path with light. Even without the hazards on, they're moving around in relevant position with their vehicles in the path, and doing so in concert with the demons who are driving in and out of the parking lot. RGS isn't doing it by itself. Moving around, walking in the parking lot is light activity, analogous to having your flashers on. The demons pacing on Vine Avenue, right behind here in relevant position, is light activity. None of this is sunlight. These are the ways in which the demon-possessed are maintaining elements. So I just want to be clear, we are analytically engaging in the identical pattern of conduct as I'm comparing Los Angeles Alvarado Gardens specifically, not anywhere in Los Angeles, over my head at a particular location at Alvarado Gardens, the fake sun is over me while the entity is gang stalking by helicopter. And on February 22nd, 2025 at 11:40 a.m., where you are seeing at what is 12:55 p.m., the fake sun is over the same apartment building. This is where the Ontario Police Department is engaging in the same criminal system, exhibiting demon possession as well, and the intent of the demon possessed to threaten you in furtherance of murdering and kidnapping me, flying over my head in helicopter, because I win and I'm documenting its co-defendant, the people of the state. As I document and prosecute the people of the state, it's a prosecution of the government itself. As I prosecute the government for gang stalking, which is how you know what the people of the state are doing, it's the prosecution of the people of the state. They're one entity.
Engage in the un-American crime of tormenting and terrorizing an American citizen. If they're not even natural-born citizens, they're going to be deported. He's going to prison for as well. The demons know that they're being documented, and they engage in that P.O.C. This is what the police department is engaging in with her. That's why she's going to prison. You see that? She's going to prison. All right, this is while the fake sun is over. This is what thousands of dollars is used to monitor my genitalia. This is why Mike Lorenz is done with law enforcement. This is why Paul Leon is out of office. These exposed sex that encourage criminal conduct. It's not a coincidence that I'm documenting this.
So I want you to be clear. Right now, there is no sun over the apartments with units 33 through 48. Okay, and the reason why it's no longer over that apartment building where it sits all day long as I remain inside of the apartment is because this stalker is monitoring. You are stalking while you're monitoring. You're not exercising privacy of speech. No constitutional protections when you're stalking. Stalking is a crime. It's also a crime when you're maliciously doing it as a demon-possessed agent for the state who is practicing this demonic system. And it is directly evident. It is directly probative of that fact in your status under the law, where you are fully exposed as a company, as the entire venue. It's not a private property. And while you are acting as an entity where the entity flies over your head in a helicopter, those are all of the symptoms, the hallmarks of gang stalking. And that which is over the apartment building right now, as I open the door at 12:25 and remaining, is not over the apartment building because I moved from that position. That's how I have documentation of the fake sun remaining over my head on third parties such as Omnitrans and in third party vehicles such as Tracy Banks. While I am in travel in my own vehicle, and I'm showing you the fake sun that remains over my windshield through my moonroof or my sunroof, whatever you want to refer to it as I go from city to city even, okay? This is the evidence of a cold-blooded, violent sex offender who engaged in one final act of retaliation before this aged, bald-headed, demon-possessed gang stalker, this sex offender, over 55, drove off of the property, and she's going to prison. Okay, as long as there's breath in her lungs, she can move, she can relocate to wherever she wants. You're not escaping the long arm of the law, and she's going to federal prison. And she is incriminating the state. She's incriminating the rest of the entity that is gang stalking as a community where the fake sun moves as I move.
Demon who's going to prison, and the police arrive under the fake.
That's where the fake sun is, okay? You're looking at what is the maintenance of the fake sun while I'm remaining inside of the apartment now. And the entity is maintaining this environment. The fake sun is remaining over the apartment while I remain inside of the apartment. So, okay, so this is at 11:40. I go back to the apartment. That's where the fake sun goes. I stay inside of the apartment. You're seeing where it's remaining stationary at 12:42 p.m. This is how I'm able to document that, okay? This is speaking to the P.O.C. of what the demon-possessed agencies of the Los Angeles Police Department and the Ontario Police Department, they're doing so while they're engaged in surveillance with the people of the state, representing an entire venue, Alvarado Gardens, as I compare that with the criminal conduct at Woodside Senior Apartments. Speaker companies, the prosecution, the federal prosecution for domestic terrorism and psychological torture, both in the workplace, and this is also where I resided, and this is where the fake sun was rising and setting. In the same manner, this is what I'm documenting here, as you see the phenomenon of a fake sun that is rising and setting over me, over one building, and it extends beyond that building, keeping in perfect alignment over my head as I walk away from that building and return to it. This is where an entity, by the way, has engaged in what is documented acts of criminal defamation. You're serving more time in federal prison. All right, that's called malice. That's called malice.
This is P.O.C. And they're monitoring my genitalia inside of a private space.
And no sex offender that's gang stalking you, that's demon possessed, has to talk to you. So they are, I want to be clear, it's not evidence of ignorance and just some sort of coincidence. That's not how the law operates, and that's not how the system works either. You are witnessing psychopaths who are entirely diabolical with the level of malice exhibited while they're gang stalking strangers, because I'm a stranger to them, but they know exactly who I am while they're targeting me. And they know exactly what I'm doing and what's going on with my genitalia as well. And that is evidenced through the environment and the stalking conduct of the police, who are exhibiting demon possession as well in doing so.
And a criminal act of retaliation that the state commits with her.
All right, this is what the LAPD is engaging in
And they're
concert
never
with the
coming
people of
back.
the state at what is Alvarado Gardens, where I'm subject to the system, and the demons are flying in a circle.
They see again. All right, this is the demon possessed. They are engaged in a criminal system in concert with the people of the state. They are providing what is audible activity. They are group stalking in relevant position. They are doing so in concert with the people of the state, criminal system in the state of California, and they're doing it in the specific environment. I want to be clear. This is letting you know the Los Angeles Police Department, they are the demon possessed criminal system in the state of California, and everything that they continue to do is serving for the prosecution of the people of the state. The people of the
All right, that's not sunlight. That's again, supposed to be the product of bouncing off of the windows. It's this chicanery, this illogical. I want to be clear what you see with regard to what I've referred to, because we're human beings and we have most of us have two eyes to see, and you're looking at something with your sense of vision. Okay, so you're looking at the window and you're looking at what is an instance of light activity, and your brain most would automatically think, oh, well, that's a reflection of sunlight, but it's not a natural reflection of any sunlight. And there's also additional evidence of this so-called sunlight that's also piercing through, even through closed blinds, even through window coverings. It's very potent light, okay? So it's both reflecting off of, creating unnatural reflections of light, if that's what you would refer to it, because that's what the average mindset would think. And I'm not even criticizing that, because I get it, because you're not even paying attention to what's happening in the environment around you. So as I pointed out to you, you may jump to the conclusion, oh, okay, well, that's a reflection off of the window, perhaps, and that is the average hypothesis. But however, the trajectory of this light, the angle of this light activity, and I'm talking about that which you see at the top, to suggest that the sunlight is reflecting off of the window and creating the angled
state that engage in the un-American crime.
This light activity that you see right here, that's the product of sunlight hitting that window. That's that's speaking to what I've referred to as impossible light activity, directed light. It's not the product of actually sunlight hitting a window and then creating that sort of reflection off of that surface. You are looking at the evidence of Satan surrounding, the evidence of the spiritual realm that surrounds you. So I just want to give context that it has nothing to do actually with the maintenance of that fake sun that's over my head. I just want to be clear, and I know that may be hard for you to imagine in your mind, because you're looking at it and you have always connected sunlight with the sun. But I want to be clear, the engineered light piercing through the peephole in this apartment at Woodside has nothing to do with the fake sun. I've documented this same engineered light, while the fake sun is not in the position where you see it now, over the top of my head in alignment to me in apartment 51, which again is a supernatural phenomenon in and of itself, especially as I show things such as, well, this is what the sun was doing where it was located, and this was a light activity as a product of this sun at the same time, even same time of year. That's a supernatural occurrence as I document that, and it's also not sunlight as you even see that light source. And I've documented the fact that the engineered light conduct appears distinct from, separate from the fake sun. The fake sun is not a necessary requirement, in other words. Okay, so I'm speaking to the evidence of the spiritual realm that surrounds you, and we are conditioned to believe, and I'm not criticizing because I understand that you're actually normal thinking that way, that's the sun and that's sunlight, if you are even paying attention to it. But it's not. The shape of the window, it's appearing on the side of the wall, and it's not the shape of the window. It's some angular aspect, much slimmer on that has nothing to do with sunlight. And it's not a reflection off of the window. And it's also not sunlight that, as on the inside of that apartment, there's also engineered light on the inside. It's both reflecting off and it's also piercing through. And it's also under the circumstances where that fake sun does not ever leave. That's my experience as I'm documenting the fake sun for the duration of the day. And it only moves when I move, which is what I'm showing while the Ontario Police Department is engaged in the outward demonstration of demon possession while they're stalking me. They're stalking. The police don't have any constitutional protected bases, no warrant or probable cause. It doesn't exist to engage in domestic terrorism. And it doesn't exist to engage in flying any helicopters where the government is stalking. The government presupposed that you would never be able to identify the fact that they're targeting one person. because they're using something like a helicopter that's flying over more than one person while they're targeting one specific person. And that is shown through the specific environment. It is shown through the behavioral pattern of the people of the state who are maintaining concerted presence around that person on behalf of that government that is proven to be stalking in such a spectacular means as a helicopter to specifically threaten that targeted individual because they know who they are, and the government is targeting that person, and the government is intending to target that person, communicating a threat while being seen on the surface as just flying over in the airspace over everyone. Okay, but I want to be clear, even under traditional laws, you could be prosecuted. There's nothing under the current structure under state law, even in California criminal stalking. The Ontario Police Department has engaged, and there is evidence showing what is criminal stalking using helicopters. The evidence supports that. It's harassment, and I have them follow me from place to place in helicopters. Outside of the evidence of what is the fake sun and the engineer light. Okay, what they're doing with the helicopters is unreasonable, and there is a basis to prosecute them under state law. Okay, but this exceeds that. This is not, it would be an injustice and insufficient to merely prosecute them for stalking, which they are not impervious to even being prosecuted under existing law. The entity, however, the malicious demons who are in positions of government, who fill the population, are engaging in conduct that they presuppose was never supposed to be suspected and was never capable of being proven, and that's just a lie out of hell. And they are as deceived as they are engaging in what is gang stalking, thinking that there would never be a consequence, that it could never be proven, that no one would ever believe the ordinary target individual. You will believe the ordinary target individual from here on. I am advocating on behalf of the ordinary target individual, and there are many laws that need to change because this is exactly how the government is falsely depicting, that is criminally defaming American citizens, depicting them as suffering from mental instability, mental incapacities that do not exist, and also including defaming them by depicting them as criminals for crimes that they did not commit, so that the entity that is engaged in this system is able to kidnap them in facilitating venues such as jails and prisons and mental wards that belong to the same entity where they're subject to a program of psychological torture. Okay, by the state. The entity is engaging in this on an ongoing basis. It's currently 1:07 p.m. I just wanted to show that. And the current time, where I will show you also what is the maintenance of that fake sun that is remaining, never extended to be over RGS in the parking lot. It stayed right here because this is where I stayed. All right, and this is where the fake sun, as you saw yesterday evening after 4 p.m., where it's replete with not only the fake sun that remains here, and it's never the natural environment such that a sun could be, like I documented, however, over anyone in Los Angeles at Alvarado Gardens in the same position as me. This is speaking to a supernatural occurrence where criminal activity, a matter of public corruption, remains underway, maliciously underway, targeting American citizens, okay, who are suffering in silence. And it's a prosecution for corrupt businesses, and it's a prosecution for corrupt communities such as Woodside Senior Apartments, AVANATH Capital Management in Ontario, California. It is currently 1:08 p.m. This is P.O.C.